What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So this was actually heavily requested over the last 2 months. Even though it's not really all that hot around where I'm at. We literally just finished having snow about a week ago at the recording of this, but had wet weather in the 70s, but I still wouldn't call it high heat for where I'm at. But if requested enough, I have to deliver. So in this video, we're going over what I believe to be the ultimate high heat fragrances, fresh fragrances, but it's high heat fragrances are fresh fragrances guide. I got 25 here. Now, are these the only 25 that excel at this particular topic and category? No, but these are 25 of my personal favorites that I want to discuss with you guys. We got some cheapy, mid-level designer, we've got some niche, we've got a little bit of everything. We'll try to get through it as quickly as we can, so stay tuned. You want to talk super fresh, great for the high heat? I felt this was the perfect fragrance to start this video. Last year's summer flanker in the CK1 line, CK1 Summer Daze. Beautiful, fresh, fruity kumquat note, very just invigorating and vibrant. Zesty, a little bit of a green essence to it. A little sharp as the citrus can come off in these fragrances. Typically, mega fresh. If you're looking for super great performance, you're not going to find that here. You can find these fragrances in the $20 to $30 range at rack stores and discounters online after the summertime passes every year. The last handful of years, I've made it a point to grab them because on a super hot day, sweating, you just need something to cool you down and kind of brighten your mood. Fragrances like CK1 Summer Daze will definitely do the trick. Next is a gorgeous, somewhat complex fragrance. There's a lot of notes here. It has a bit of an aquatic feel without aquatic notes. It is Roja Parfums Oceania, the best freshie from the house in my personal opinion. And I have a bunch of fresh fragrances from Davidoff. This one in particular, bright citrus, zesty, herbal greens that are still pretty fresh, don't really lean spicy. There's iris and violet that tend to lean a little on the soapier side than the powdery side, so the florals don't really take over the fragrance, and it's got a light, clean, musky tone as it dries. Just gorgeous. I mean, this is one that will surprise you in performance. It sticks around, it hangs out on the skin all day. It's not an overwhelmingly strong fragrance. It's light, bright, and airy, but it's light, bright, and airy for like 10 hours. This stuff is just phenomenal if you're looking for a quality, super high heat freshie. If you're looking to spend some money and kind of take it to that next level, fragrances like this are absolutely worth getting your nose on and spraying on your skin and seeing how it works for you. And it's Roja Parfums Oceania. Brand new to the collection, a fresh release from last year. The only version of Terre that's ever really smelled pretty good off of my skin. We're talking about Terre Eau Givree. Gorgeous citron heavy. It's very woodsy. There's a little bit of an earthy tone. It gets a bit creamy. It's not, I don't even think vetiver's listed, even though that's kind of the namesake for this line. You do smell that woodsy vetiver. The woody notes in here, I believe, is some sort of woody vetiver. It's not all that earthy, but it's super bright, mouth-watering, even a little lip-smacking, mouth-smacking tartness to it. This is gorgeous. Decent performer, too. For as fresh as this is, it's an eau de parfum concentration, so that means it's at minimum 15%, probably in that 18% oil concentration range. But it has the brightness of an eau de cologne with the staying power of an eau de parfum. So far, I've clocked it in the 7 to 8 hour range on my skin. And for something that is mega fresh, that excels in high heat and humidity, that's pretty impressive for this. Terre d'Hermès, this particular line has never been one that really spoke to me. But when it comes to this particular flanker, I mean, this is the king of the mountain for me personally. So get your nose on this one if you want the freshest of the fresh from Hermès's Terre d'Hermès line. It's Eau Givree. Next, we have a beautiful, very underappreciated fragrance from Mancera because there's just so many offerings that are phenomenal from this house. This one tends to get overlooked, but it's just so good for high heat and humidity. This is Soleil d'Italie. So I picked this one up last year. This one is full of bright, airy citruses, watery notes. Doesn't have a marine tone. It's not a saltwater feel. It's a very freshwater, airy type of feel to this fragrance. There's soft woods. There's clean musk. There's a light white floral tone at the heart of this fragrance. It is a great performer while maintaining a lot of airiness. Like, airiness is going to be kind of a running theme for these fragrances. And for those of you that are not familiar by what I mean when I say airy, it's a lighter aroma. It doesn't lack power, but the aroma's not thick. It doesn't smell dense, heavy, like tobacco fragrances or heavy ambery tone fragrances, stuff like that. These have the more fresh and volatile components, so they tend to be bright and airy and really get out in the air in the first hour. They're pretty loud in the first hour, and this one is very much like that, extremely ozonic and bright. Another one that's kind of mouth-watering. The watery notes here kind of do that to it. It enhances the citruses in this fragrance. Again, a light white floral heart to this fragrance. If you're not a fan of that, you may not like this one because it does stand out, but I don't really find it to be all that feminine. Perfectly unisex. Anybody can enjoy this one. Super underrated from the house. Pretty good performer, too. 8+ hours on my skin. It's Mancera Soleil d'Italie. Now, here's a blast from summer 2018, I believe. It's past, because this gets lost in the shuffle of the yearly summer flankers in the Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue line, because Forever and Italian Love got so much attention the last 2 years, and then at the recording of this, I haven't gotten my nose on Light Blue Summer Vibes, which is the newest release, but Light Blue Sun is not to be forgotten. It's still easy to find from discounters online. This legitimately smells, and sun in the color scheme is very, very fitting, and the reason being, it smells like Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, plus this coconut note that gives a bit of a sunscreen vibe. So sun is a fitting name. It has that sun-kissed, skin by the beach type of smell to it. Very much so. It is delightful. Super, super underappreciated in this line. Now, are there others that kind of get less love than this one in the line? Sure, they've been making yearly summer flankers for a long time in this line, but this one's still readily available from discounters online. $40 to $50 range, you can get a 4.2 ounce bottle just like this. This used to pop up at the rack stores. I haven't seen it at the rack stores in years, but I've seen them floating around from discounters online. I'll have links to all of these fragrances down below. This is one that's worth checking out. If you're not real heavy on the grapefruit, so that tart grapefruit that Forever and Italian Love are known for, the newer ones that got all the love and attention the last couple of years, if that just wasn't for you, maybe you should reach back a few more years behind in the summer releases and check out Sun, because this is brilliant for the high heat. And that's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. If you're a fan of watermelon juice, bright, juicy watermelon smell, you'll probably like Masi Into Me for Men. So this basically comes down to this believable watermelon juice smell, crisp and spicy ginger, and soft woods. It's that simplistic for me on how easy it is to describe this fragrance. It's so enjoyable. It's a great versatile daily wear. Does phenomenal in the high heat. I got this one last year. This is an independent niche house. The quality is top tier. Performance is well above average. This is another one I easily get 7 or 8 hours of life on my skin. It's bright and airy. It's super enjoyable. It does lean a little bit on the masculine side. There's a touch of some spices here. A little bit of an earthy, woodsy tone that kind of ground it. The ginger is your main spice, but it also adds kind of this crisp edge to brighten up the citruses here, which there are other citruses besides this watermelon note, but it definitely dominates the top of this fragrance. This is a stunner. Absolutely worth trying. Definitely check it out in the link below. Get yourself a sample and try it. It's Masi Into Me for Men. One of the more authentic and believable salty sea breeze type of smells. I think of the Gulf of Mexico, being out on a boat with the mist in the air when the waves crash against the boat and that mist that goes into the air. That's what I think of with Bon Parfumeur 801. It's woody, don't get me wrong, but it's at its most simplistic form. That is exactly what it smells like to me. A saltwater mist in the air while you're out on the boat fishing. It's that simple. Quality. Salty aquatic. There's a little bit of citrus here. Obviously there's woods. It's a little minty fresh, but not too minty. It's mostly that saltwater marine aquatic type smell. That's why I say I think Gulf of Mexico, because that's a saltwater body of water. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Above average performer, again, 6 to 8 hours in longevity on my skin. And like I said, very believable and authentic for the type of scent profile that they created here. Very underrated French niche house that you can get fragrances like this in that $50 range from discounters online. And they are quality. I have a handful of fragrances from them. And when it comes to absolute just killers in the high heat that are mega fresh, this one very much reminds me of fishing down in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Absolutely. If you're a fan of that salty sea breeze type of smell, you should try Bon Parfumeur 801. The reason I chose this one over its Eau Fraiche flanker is because it's actually fresher than its Eau Fraiche flanker. This is Yves Saint Laurent Y. Eau de Toilette. The aldehydes really, really brighten up the top of this fragrance. On a high heat, hot summer's day, this is my preferred choice, even over the Eau Fraiche flanker. Reason being, that is a gorgeous fragrance, don't get me wrong. The whole line's really good for me personally. That one's a warm lemon smell. Ginger-lemon combo. The ginger kind of warms up that lemon smell and enhances it. Doesn't make it overly spicy. But here you get aldehydes and apple. Beautiful. Beautiful. A little bit of citrus, but mostly this crisp green apple with a bunch of aldehydes. And I mean, it makes it fizzy, bright, bubbly. So good. Very aromatic. A little bit of soapiness as it starts to settle in. And then there's this beautiful, clean, musky, slightly aquatic tone from this synthetic ambergris that's used here. It's a little bit of sage, kind of adds a bit of a fresh, spicy, and musky tone, enhances that muskiness of the ambergris. And for me, it's always been an above-average performer. I get right around 6 or 7 hours on my skin with this one. High compliment factor in my experience. I actually have 2 bottles of this fragrance. This is the original formulation. The newer formula that came out in 2022 is just a little bit sweeter than this one, but overall, pretty much the same scent profile. So if you want to get your hands on it or get your nose on it just to try it, the newer formula, pretty much the same. And that's Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Toilette. This next one's mega bright, zesty, and a great performer. This one is a solid 8+ hours in longevity. For as fresh as it is, it's almost criminal. But I know a lot of you would disagree and say, no, that's what we want. And I get it. This one's awesome. This is Nishane Wulong Cha. Bright citruses, a little bit of an aquatic tone, a beautiful herbal tea green smell to this one. Juicy fruity fig, it's very juicy, and woodsy. That's all the things you can expect from this. Is it the most authentic and natural smell in the world? No, but it also doesn't smell cheap and synthetic. You can definitely tell this is a, at minimum mid-level luxury fragrance. Because you can get it in the mid-level luxury price point. Like a 50 ml like this, right around $105 to $115, $20 from discounters online. 50 ml goes a long way. Like I said, stronger than you may think, pretty long lasting. I don't do more than 4 or 5 sprays because it's actually bordering a beast on my skin. And for a freshie, that's not the most common thing out there, but it is one of the best for high heat. If you want to spend a little more to get a little more, you get a little bit more performance, you get somewhat of a unique fresh fragrance because I haven't smelled this exact DNA with any other freshie out there. And again, perfectly unisex, gorgeous fragrance. Like I said, you're going to spend a little bit more, but technically if you look at retail for designer fragrances at a Macy's and so on, versus what you can get this for from a discounter online, you're actually going to spend less and get more. Beautiful high heat fragrance, Nishane Wulong Cha. Average to slightly above average, bordering beastly on my skin in longevity, but not the loudest fragrance out there. Most of the time, I would say sweet fragrances don't excel in high heat. But there are certain exceptions to that thought process and that logic, one of them being Le Beau Eau de Toilette from Jean-Paul Gaultier. So this is a beautiful combination of bergamot and coconut, but it's also dominated by sweet and powdery tonka bean. But the way it's composed, it's a simplistic note breakdown. You do literally smell all 3 notes that they give you in the note pyramid, and it just works. This is such a beautiful, tropical, summertime, vacation in a bottle type of scent profile. Performance, like I said, I get about 7, 8, even sometimes 9 hours, depending on how hot or mild the weather is. I get great longevity. After about an hour and a half, it does calm down. That's its loudest point, is the first hour and a half. Projection slightly above average in the first hour. Then maybe arms reach for another half hour, something like that. Then it calms down, sits a bit closer to the skin. But this is vacation in a bottle. This is one of those tropical summertime fragrances that's just so enjoyable. It's got a ton of hype over the last few years. The Le Parfum flanker is amazing, but it's so much denser and so much more sweet that it definitely didn't suit this. I would say in super high heat and humidity, this is the superior one to go with because it's just so much fresher. It's a lower oil concentration, and the top notes are just that much brighter. Gorgeous. Not too many sweet fragrances would go in a video like this, but this one works. Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Beau Eau de Toilette. Very sharp, metallic, citrus fresh, bright, a great performer for as fresh as it is. There's a nice soft floral heart. It's a little powdery. It's very musky. If you like clean musky fragrances mixed with a metallic tone, you'll like Xerjoff's Mefisto. This is gorgeous. It does have a similarity to Creed's Silver Mountain Water, but to be honest with you, I prefer this. That's why I own this and not Creed Silver Mountain Water. The herbal tea and inkiness of Silver Mountain Water, don't get me wrong, all-time great scent profile, but I just like this take on it a little bit better because the two things I just described are not in this fragrance. This has more florals to it, doesn't have as inky of a smell because it's absent of the black currant, and then, like I said before, it doesn't have that herbaceous quality of the tea note. And a big deciding factor, my wife is a humongous fan of this fragrance, so that's always an added bonus. I'm a huge fan as well. Again, 8 hours solid, and then some on my skin. Very loud, very bright. Doesn't smell the highest of qualities because it's sharp and metallic, but for the scent profile, it's a high quality take on this style. Because there's a ton of fragrances out there that have copied the Silver Mountain Water and Mefisto style and DNA of fragrance, and this is just a delight. If you like fresh and sharp, that's the most simplistic way to look at it. That's what the first hour of the life of this fragrance is going to be for you. Fresh and sharp. And then it's going to settle into musky floral and a little powdery. Very metallic the whole way through. Just beautiful. Beautiful fragrance. Absolutely worth trying. Get your nose on this one if you haven't yet. It is Xerjoff's Mefisto. With this next fragrance, I've got a bunch of its flankers that are superior in many ways for many situations. But when it comes to super high heat, I think the original is still the best way to go. We're talking about the original Azzaro Chrome. I have the Eau de Parfum, the Extreme, Aqua, United, Sport. I mean, the list goes on. The original Azzaro Chrome, again, we go back to sharp citrus metallic, kind of like the previous fragrance we discussed with Mefisto, but this is much more shower gel, classic 90s, late 90s type of smell. Very nostalgic for me. I think that's another reason why it's an easy pick. Still readily available, easy to get, affordable, and it's still a really good performer. This one is well above average. Another one, surprising for as fresh as it is, 6 to 8 hour fragrance, surprises me. This fragrance has been out for over 20 years. I'm sure it's been through many formulations, and it's still a great performer. For as fresh as that is, that's very surprising these days for a fragrance that you can get for like 30 bucks for 100 ml. And it's a timeless DNA. There will never be a time when I personally think anybody could call Azzaro Chrome dated. It never gets old. You can always wear it. It just works, especially in the high heat. That's why it was easy to feature the original. For this particular topic, I do think it's the best route to go. Extreme, Aqua, all those, they're great. Don't get me wrong. They are great. And they perform a little bit better. But I want that fresh metallic shower gel smell in super high heat. I like the cleanliness of the original Azzaro Chrome. Now here's one that you possibly may have never heard anyone speak of before. I actually did a full review on this one. Super underrated. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's kind of a soapier version of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. It is Mercedes-Benz Club Fresh. This is a super underrated gem. When compiling these fragrances for this video, I did spray it on my hand. This is the one out of the 25 that got sprayed on skin. That should give you an inkling into how much I actually enjoy this fragrance. It's good stuff. Super bright, zesty, not super zesty though, more soapy than zesty, creamy type of citrus. A little bit of a floral tone. Of course, it's very musky, and even has a little bit of this spicy tone that you, not quite the peppery spice of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, but that's the fragrance DNA that this most closely resembles, in my opinion, though I wouldn't call it one-to-one, but just for argument's sake, to kind of give you an idea of the scent profile, about that. And then 5-6 hour range, something like that. Average performer, nothing spectacular, and it's not a groundbreaking fragrance by any means, but if you're looking for super high heat, freshy that will cool you off and kind of brighten your mood on a hot day, this is one of those fragrances. Again, it gets no shine, it gets no love, it gets zero spotlight. So I felt it's my due diligence, being one of the few people to review it on YouTube, to really give it some spotlight because it fits this particular video topic just so well. If you want some more details beyond this, definitely check out my full review, but it had to be in this video. It's Mercedes-Benz Club Fresh. This next one's from a wonderful indie niche house. This is a blend of their two freshest fragrances, in my opinion, two of my personal favorites. You get this by the beach, island vibe, tropical fruity drinks from City Rhythm Fragrance. This is 2654. It's a combination of, you can see San Diego right there, Miami right there. So Miami Tropical Seduction, San Diego Pacific Sunset. You have a blend. It's a 50% oil concentration. This is the strongest fragrance in this video. It's the most powerful and long lasting. Saltwater aquatic that's fruity, breezy, boozy, earthy, floral, and ambery. You get a little bit of all of that. In the top, there's kind of a lot going on. It's kind of a tug of war on what direction it's going to go with its main accords at the top, but after you give it a minute or so to settle, it gets really good really fast. And if you're familiar with either of the fragrances that blended together to make this concoction, you'll get a little bit of each of them while it kind of makes its own thing at the same time. Just really, really good stuff. One of my 3 favorite fragrances from the house. It's definitely one worth trying, in my opinion. Are the 2 that it's made from great on their own? Sure. Miami's actually the top seller from the house. But for me personally, for my money, I think this is the way to go if you're looking for great in the high heat, but still a heavy oil concentration. City Rhythm 2654. I mean, can you have this video topic without Versace Man Eau Fraiche? I mean, this is like the poster child. And believe it or not, I didn't put it in the thumbnail, because yes, I did make the thumbnail before I filmed the video. I didn't put this in there because I wanted you guys to wonder. I wonder if that's going to be in there. Because by this point, we're about midway through the video. And some of you have thought, is he really not going to put Versace Man Eau Fraiche in there? Yeah, it has to be here. Poster child for high heat, freshy Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. This could be on the ballot as a first ballot Hall of Famer when it comes to high heat, fresh fragrances. It's that good. It is a modern classic. It is a compliment getter. It is super enjoyable as far as wearing experience, average performance. Even if you get subpar 3-4 hour type of longevity, just spray the damn thing over again. It's affordable, all over the place on the internet. It's easy to get out and sample from different fragrance counters, department stores, makeup stores, Sephora's, Ulta's, places like that. They have testers. Try this on your skin. Bring your girl with you. Let her smell it on you. You're going to end up getting a bottle. It's that good. Carambola starfruit gives this kind of sour, slightly tart, citrusy smell working with the other citruses. It's a little watery, very clean and musky, a little fresh and spicy, but it really becomes very clean and musky. And like I said, that sour starfruit note kind of dominates the top of this fragrance. It's on the unique side. It's heavily copied now. When it first came out, it was on the unique side, but it's heavily copied at this point. But none of them quite have the magic of the original. Like I said, poster child for this topic. It had to be in here. Versace Man Eau Fraiche. One of the more unique and complex fragrances in this particular video. Definitely the smokiest fragrance on my skin. There's a beautiful resinous oriental dry down to this fragrance. It's a nice limey clementine, sweet orange, warm amber, a little saltiness. It's very breezy and aromatic, but the incense really pops on my skin with Zaharoff Signature Citrine. I couldn't have this topic without this fragrance, because I'm going to call a spade here. There's a lot of great stuff that comes out of this house, but this is the best smelling one if you're a fan of freshies. Hands down. I'm a freshy guy. I've always been a freshy guy. It's not the best performer in the house. It's not the best performer in this video. It smells freaking incredible. Such good stuff. This is one you can just spray and spray and spray. And in fact, I didn't spray anything yet this evening. We'll do 7 sprays all the way around the neck right now, because I took my shower a little while ago. Not that long ago. And I just realized I didn't spray anything. We're spraying this one. Why the hell not? Such a gorgeous sea eyes. Like I said, on my skin, the frankincense pops. Warm and ambery, a little salty and marine. Just a little bit. It's not an aquatic fragrance, but it's got a little bit of a salty, breezy feel to it. Just gorgeous stuff. Absolutely worth a sample. Performance will vary. You're going to see stuff all over the internet of terrible performance, of people are crazy. I get great performance. You don't know unless you try it on your skin. I do get 6 to 7 hours of longevity on my skin, but it's not a loud fragrance. After an hour, pretty close to the skin unless your body heats up. That's how it performs on me. Will it do the same on you? Who knows? But you can get a sample from the link below. $5. Try it out for yourself. You may end up wanting a bottle. But as you can see, I'm enjoying it. I have the sillage going right now with Zaharoff Signature Citrine. One of my best pickups in 2022. Hands down, I love this fragrance. It is a gorgeous steal for the $32 I picked it up from TJ Maxx for. It's Missoni Wave. So with Missoni Wave, it smells a little bit of Versace Pour Homme mixed with a lot of Chanel Allure Homme Sport. It's citrusy and aquatic at the top. It's aromatic, a little soapy. It's creamy, sweet, and floral. It's got a lot going on, believe it or not. And this is another one, 6 to 8 hours of longevity on my skin. I got some good stuff in this video, guys. Beautiful, high compliment getter, magnetic cap, pressure sensitive. This is good stuff. Had I not sprayed Citrine already, I probably would have sprayed this. Big fan of this fragrance. Way better than the Parfum Pour Homme version, the blacker grayish bottle that smells like Bleu de Chanel. It's a great fragrance. This is even better in my opinion. You can find it sub 50 bucks all over the place from discounters online. Sub 50 bucks, it's still a great price. If you can find it for 32 bucks at a rack store like I did, obviously that's even better. But if you can get it 40, 45 bucks range, phenomenal price. Pick it up. It's a worthy blind buy in my personal opinion. Obviously, there's no guarantees that you're going to like it, but if you're looking for something that's got a high compliment factor in my experience and many others of my friends here online in the community, and you don't want to spend a lot of money and you kind of want to get that Chanel Allure Homme Sport smell without spending Chanel Allure Homme Sport money, you might want to check this one out. Again, that's Missoni Wave. Here's one that nobody talks about that you can pick up for $15. David Beckham Instinct Sport. This is a surprisingly good fragrance. That's a decent performer, like a 5-hour fragrance on my skin. Magnetic cap too, by the way. Just saying. Fresh, fruity, a little bubblegum. Very sporty, sure, but great in the high heat. There's no real spicy, fresh, spicy, dense type of tone to it. I usually equate sporty fragrances with some citrus, some aromatics, and a little bit of fresh spice. Usually the case. Maybe some woods in the backdrop, which you do get a little bit of all of that here, minus the spiciness. I don't really get any spiciness. It's more fruity and bubblegum type of smell, like a bubblegum type of smell. That does fade a little bit, and it becomes all about this woodsy tone. It's a very woody fragrance at its core as that fruitiness calms down, but it's very fresh. Very fresh. Like I said, no real heft to this, no strong density, and decent performance for a $15 David Beckham fragrance. Yes, I paid like 15 bucks from discounters online, sub 20 bucks. You can get this fragrance. They pop up at rack stores, like Burlington, for example, is usually where I see the Beckham fragrances. This is good stuff, and you're not going to hear too many people talk about this one. This one I did put in the thumbnail, because this one's a nice little hidden gem that not a lot of people have tried. It'll remind you of other things. It's not super unique, but for the money, it's damn good in the heat. And that's David Beckham Instinct Sport. There's a few fragrances from this house, and this line in particular, that could have went here, but I felt like this was the way to go. If this was a spring video, it would have been the blue flanker that's named incorrectly, because it's not blue, it's a very green fragrance. I thought about the Aqua flanker, because it was really between this and the Aqua flanker. We're talking about John Varvatos Artisan Pure. So what's so special about this one that made it beat out the others? It's just that much fresher, because Artisan Aqua has a lot of green spiciness to it, whereas I find this to be more about the citrus and the musk and the woods. Very white linen shirt type of smell in the summertime. This is some real good stuff. It still has that herbaceous green quality without being overly herbaceously spiced, which I find Artisan Aqua to have a little bit more of, not much more of. It's not a drastic difference, but I don't know, when smelling the two side by side, I was like, yeah, I'd rather wear this if it's hot as hell outside. I'd prefer to wear this one. Just my take. Some of you may feel different, but I'll tell you one thing, you can get this for a very good price still from discounters online, 75 mLs or 125 ml like this. The quality is actually really good. It doesn't smell like a fragrance you can get for around 40 to 50 bucks, 35 to 50 bucks depending on bottle size. It smells much pricier than that. This easily smells at the $100+ price point, and I'm not going to sit here and call it a luxury niche smell, but for a designer that you can get affordably, affordable designer, it's kind of shocking. I'm just going to be real with you. It's kind of shocking. Average type of performance, 6-hour range. Nothing spectacular, but for a fresh Varvatos fragrance, that's actually really good. It's like a beast for John Varvatos' fresh fragrances. But the quality is definitely top-notch, I find. Great for high heat. Varvatos Artisan Pure. Now, I knew I wanted a Polo Blue fragrance in this video, and the easy choice is the original Eau de Toilette. That's phenomenal in the high heat. Probably a close second to what I actually chose. It is a close second to what I actually chose, because super high heat, I've featured this in the past in a similar name topic video. It is Polo Ultra Blue. This is very mineralic. It's got mineral notes, got kind of that wet concrete vibe with a sharp citron. It's actually somewhat of a unique take on Polo Blue. That sharp citron really changes with these mineral notes. It's almost a little metallic with a little bit of a wet concrete, like you just finished washing your car. That smell the cement will have after the fact. I know that sounds kind of strange, but it really works in this fragrance. And it's mega, 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 ridiculously ultra, as the name would indicate, fresh. Ultra fresh. It is definitely that. And it's a surprising performer. 5 to 6 hour fragrance for as fresh and airy and light as this aroma is. Super, super zesty citron. If you like citron, which is basically a very sharp and bright lemon smell, you're going to like this. This is the best in high humidity. If you live on the Gulf Coast and you have those types of summers, and you like the Polo Blue DNA at all, this is a must-have in your collection then. If you like Polo Blue and you live in high humidity, you need this one. Don't just try it. You need this one. Again, no guarantees you're going to like it. Try it if you can. Get a sample online, of course. But it's the one. Like I said, a close second would be the original because it's so bright and fresh, but none of them can hold a candle when it comes to humidity to Polo Ultra Blue. Basically, Davidoff's take on Invictus Aqua. It's a little spicy. It's got a beautiful Sichuan pepper note. The juniper here provides a nice aromatic, almost gin-like hit. It's got some salty sea notes. It's a little woodsy. Not a great performer, but it's cheap. It's Davidoff Cool Water Wave. This is great in the high heat. You can bathe in this fragrance. You can spray it 10, 15, 20 times. You're not going to offend anybody, nor are you going to choke yourself out. After a handful of hours, it's gone. It's like 3, 4, 5 hours if you're lucky. You can definitely spray your garment and your clothes with this, but I wouldn't expect more than like 4 hours out of this. Typically, that's really all I've ever gotten. But damn, does this smell good. Guys, we're going to spray some more. That's so good. It's been a little while since I've smelled it, and I've worn it over the years. I mean, see the juice level drop, and I just have so many fragrances, but there was a stretch when I was wearing this one pretty often. I still love this fragrance. I had somebody ask me in the last day or two if I was still a fan of this fragrance. If you happen to see this, sir, absolutely, because it needed to be in this. $20 for 125 ml. I don't know if prices have gone up over the years. I can't imagine this being more than $30. I know it's still available. I've seen it in recent months from discounters. If you're a fan of Invictus Aqua and you want Cool Water's take on it, basically, here you have it. It smells like a little bit of Cool Water's herbaceous, minty, aquatic tone with some of the slight bubblegummy freshness of the original Invictus Aqua, the 2016. This is beautiful. I always plan to have a bottle of this in my collection. If I can get to about the halfway point, I'll probably buy a 200 ml just to have a backup for the inevitable one day when I need another bottle, because this one, every summer, I spray it, whether it's out the shower or casually, because it's so damn good to make you feel good and refresh you when it's hot as hell outside. And it's Davidoff Cool Water Wave. Next, we have a high heat summertime all-star. This is legendary. This is another First Ballot Hall of Famer. You can still get them easily for 20 bucks. Nordstrom racks mainly. I don't think I've ever been to a Nordstrom rack, no matter where, what town and state it's in. And they didn't have a few bottles of Tommy Bahama set sale St. Barts. Now, some of you that have a newer bottle are like, hey, my font's different. It says St. Barts on mine, looks a little different. This is actually quite the old bottle. This bottle's like 8 or 9 years old. It's very old. And it's still beautiful. Just goes to show that fragrances don't spoil that easy. This is a cheap citrus-heavy fragrance, and the top note is far from spoiled. Man, that's beautiful. Margarita. It's a margarita fragrance. That's what it smells like. It's got tequila, I believe is the boozy note. Salty, lime, a little warm. The booziness kind of warms up on your skin. Decent performer. I've experienced clocking this at 6 hours even. I don't know if it's because the bottle's aged, the batch, whatever. At least 4 hours. 4 to 6 hours is the safe range for this. 20 bucks. It is sitting by the beach having a drink, because it smells like a margarita on the rocks, basically, is how I've always dubbed it. Like I said, it's an all-star. It's an all-time great for the high heat, for the summertime. It's a great vacation fragrance. Any of these topics, situations, climates, and settings, this fragrance excels, and excels greatly at it. I've always been a fan of this one. I'll always have a bottle. I'll always have a bottle. I'll always have a bottle. And you should too. For 20 bucks, it's a no-brainer. It's Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's. With this next one, you have to be a huge fan of pineapple, because boy, that is the focal point. And no, it smells nothing like Invictus, because when I say pineapple, people automatically think that. It smells like, picture sliced up pineapple, sitting in an ice chest by the beach. You're under the umbrella, sitting in your chair, you pull out some pineapple out the ice chest. It smells like iced pineapple because of the mintiness, the watery aquatic notes enhance the juiciness. It is Summer Vibes 4.0 from Authenticity Parfums. It literally smells like straight up squeezed fresh pineapple juice over ice. You know, a big glass of iced up pineapple juice. I mean, there's a clean musky tone in the dry down, but it's really that simplistic. 50% oil concentration too. It lasts. This is a strong fragrance. God, this smells so freaking good. And it just works in the heat. Super tropical because it's based around a tropical fruit. It's pineapple. God, those two sprays really fill this airspace. This is so good. They are back in stock. There's a link with 10% off code down below. Get a sample. Try it. I'm not saying blind buy a bottle, even though it's cheap. But boy, you should really try this and see if it's for you. Because if you were ever a fan of bright pineapple heavy fragrances, tropical fruity sweet fragrances in general that shine in the summertime. I mean, hell, the name of it is Summer Vibes. It is a very tropical fragrance with really good performance. It is an original indie niche composition. It's worth trying. I had to have it in this video because it suits the topic so well. So good in the high heat. It's literally built for the summer. Authenticity Parfums, Summer Vibes 4.0. You didn't think we were going to get through all 25 of these without a version of Acqua de Joe from Giorgio Armani, did you? Because Profondo deserves to be here. Profondo Lights, maybe there's an argument there for that one being here, but it was limited edition. It's not near as easy to get, so the easier, safer bet is just go with Profondo because it's a much more aquatic fragrance. Profondo Lights is more about the greenery. It's enhanced with the greens. This is the better performer, and it's very saltwater, by the beach, marine aquatic. Don't get me wrong, it's on the synthetic smelling side, but it's a great performer. It's a compliment getter. It's crazy good for the high heat. It's one that'll just keep going and going really strong off your skin. If it's hot and humid outside and you're going to be outdoors, you don't need but 3, maybe 4 sprays. People are going to smell you. You're going to have a trail. It's going to really push off your skin because it's already a beast. You intensify it with high heat and humidity. Intensifying it is exactly what's going to happen. This is a phenomenal fragrance. This is the modern take on Acqua di Gio. This is the blue fragrance version. A lot of you guys know I'm a big fan of blues. That's why I'm a big fan of this one. And it really shines in the heat. Better than the original. Easily. I think it's better than the Eau de Parfum. For this situation, it's better than Profumo. Runs a close race with Absolute. And in this situation, I think it surpasses its flanker, Profondo Lights. And it's better than Absolute Instinct across the board. But it had to be here. It's great for the high heat. It's a monster performer. It just smells incredible. Acqua di Gio Profondo. Last but most certainly not least, the cream of the crop. This is my favorite. It's Invictus Aqua 2018 from Paco Rabanne. The reason it says the name of the fragrance on the front, this is a tester bottle. This is phenomenal. I encourage all of you to try this. It's bright, grapefruit citrus heavy. It's floral and powdery, very watery and aquatic, musky, a little woodsy. There's a metallic tone to it. This fragrance makes me happy. I get 7 hours roughly, pretty much every time I wear it on skin, so you can say 6 to 8 hours. Very strong projection the first hour and a half. It's an all-time great compliment getter for me. I've never gotten more This is my second bottle. I've never gotten more compliments on any other fragrance DNA in my life. I'm a big, big fan of this. I prefer the 2018 to the 2016 original version. I just love the way this one smells. It is great in the high heat. This, like I said, it's a mood booster for me. And it's so inherently fresh. It just shines in high humidity, high heat. It's one of the greatest freshies ever for me personally. For my taste, hands down one of the greatest freshies ever. It is my favorite fragrance has been for years, and that's not changing anytime soon. Get your nose on this one. You might be missing out. Paco Rabanne Invictus Aqua 2018. Well, 25 fragrances. I know this was a long one. Thank you to everybody that stuck through. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 25, what have you tried or what sparked your interest? I'd be curious to know what you guys think down below. And like I said, I'll try to have links to everything down below. The description box is going to be quite long. The video was long, but I appreciate all of you. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 25 and you give them a spray now, you live in a high heat area full of humidity, you'll probably end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.